compromise book in here. Terry Reid, Clinton Bush, compromise, Clinton Bush and the CIA. It's just sitting right there. I mean, he was there with all these people. Bill Clinton was coming, George Bush Sr.
It's just so strange that
this is a signed one, but
that's kooky talk, though. If you bring that up, if you start saying that, you know, you believe that the government is involved in drug dealing and that the government has been involved in bringing crack into inner city neighborhoods and using the profits to pay for black ops missions. I mean, that sounds like kooky talk.
Even though they had the 1996 hearings on C-SPAN where they admitted it.
Yeah, I mean, it is real. I mean, it really is real. The government has been involved in selling drugs.
Well, they're involved in creating monopolies. And so what they do is the corrupt colonels and generals, they get a big cut. I mean, most of these people that retire out of the military, you see these generals are living in $3 million houses on their, $100,000 a year pension.
Wow.
And, they got a mistress down the street in another mansion. I mean, where's the money coming from? Well, it's coming from arms sales on the side, narcotics trafficking. I mean, our government is one giant murdering mafia.
It is fascinating to me that, like, so few people even know about, like, the Gulf of Tonkin incident and know that there's really it was like a fake incident that got us involved in the Vietnam War, and people have just accepted that. Well, they've accepted that the government is willing to lie in order to get you into war. But so if they're willing to kill people and for whatever their own reasons are and have a fake event in order to kill people, you don't think they would sell drugs? Like, you think they would have American soldiers killed. They'd basically put American soldiers to death over a law.
No, the VA signed a secret deal that came out in Bloomberg yesterday with 6 million vets to, when they die, steal their insurance money. And the government says, it's legal. We have authorized it. I've got it right here in Bloomberg.
But isn't it fascinating that all this stuff is legal? I mean, isn't it fascinating, rather, that all this stuff is public knowledge, that all this stuff is, anyone can go online and find out about Operation Northwoods. Anyone can go online and find out about the Gulf of Tonkin or read about Barry Seals or read about Michael Rupert and all the different things that he uncovered when he was working for the LAPD. But no one knows. It's just, it's such, and talking about it, you sound like a kook.
Totally. Speaking of sounding like a kook, a lot of people think I'm a kook for questioning what the hell's going on with chemtrails. What's your take on chemtrails?
Well, I've actually been working on a chemtrail film for 2 years. It's going to come out next year because I'll sell no wine before it's time. I've got to get it right with all the evidence. We have the patent where they add it to the jet fuel, so it's
Barium and aluminum?
Yes. So it's dispersed. And that's just one of the programs, and it's all declassified. It's all in plain view. White House has press conferences that they're studying. This massive program is just the studying.
Yeah.
And that it's been going on since the early 1990s, and the guy won a Nobel Prize for it. And then most of the people that cover it, they just go off down the kooky road and I can give them the pure evidence, and they won't look at that.
You know, the craziest thing is the chemtrail show on Discovery Channel. Have you seen this?
No.
They do it. They're going to find out once and for all, is this a hoax or is this real? So they hired a group of scientists, like these top scientists, they're going to study. And you know what they did? They took random fuel from a local airport, from a commercial airline fuel, and studied it to see if there was high levels of barium and aluminum. When no one is saying, like, Southwest and United is spraying, it's military jets that are doing this.
Well, there's a bunch of different programs.
But how weird is that they put that on TV, and then the final analysis was, the scientists came out and said, well, based on our analysis, there is no excess of barium or aluminum. These guys they'll believe whatever they want, these conspiracy theorists, but we have the evidence, we have the tests. And they studied commercial airline fuel. Is that crazy? I mean, who put together this show?
Well, that's called a straw man. It's like we're looking for a Bengal tiger, and so we went to the outback of Australia and didn't find one, so Bengal tigers don't exist. You're like, but you need to go to Bengal, India. It's where the Bengal tigers are at. So exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and they did that. You know what it is? Nat Geo puts out these. Something with Nat Geo is connected with the government, because you watch anything on...
Oh, no. National Geographic, you've all heard about how record numbers of missionaries turn out to be CIA. And
really?
Yeah, and record numbers of Peace Corps is a CIA cover.
You know, a lot of people will say...
National Geographic is a eugenics organization, and they are one of the highest level CIA fronts.
I'm just going to say that a lot of people will say this is malarkey. A very good friend of mine, his father is in the CIA, and he didn't find out his father was in the CIA until he was in high school. He had no idea what his father did, and he had to travel all over the world. But his father was involved in that sort of business, and he was in the CIA the entire time.
And another thing...
And he was involved with what kind of business?
Well, you know, I can't really say. I can't really talk about it too much.
But TV?
But, he was doing, like...
nature shows,
philanthropy work overseas, but really he was working for the CIA.
No, it's like, we've got injections for your little Africans. Oh, the little Africans died a week after. Oh, the little... Oh, we're giving you a polio shot. Oh, it was live polio. Oh, it happens everywhere we go. Oopsie.
And they did another show on 911. They go, we're going to find out once and for all if 911 was a cover-up or whatever, conspiracy. So they do all these stupid tests on these miniature buildings that they built. And
no, I know.
But they never discuss Tower 7. It was 2 hours. They never
Or they didn't show the video of police saying, get back, they're going to blow it up. We'll be right back with Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo, the coolest name in the world. We'll be right back.
Hounded by debt collectors with phone calls and letters? Thinking of calling a debt relief company? Don't. Greedy lawyers and debt companies charge thousands. Why pay when you can get their solution absolutely free with New York Times best-selling author Herb K's #1 debt secret, the how-to on stopping the calls without paying the debt companies. Yes, free for a very limited time. Here's Herb K.
Don't get ripped off by credit repair companies when I can give you the information you need to do it yourself for free.
Herb K was right. His free information helped me stop the calls and settle my debt.
What do you have to lose? Stop the calls now. Get out of debt and have more money. Get Herb K's #1 debt secret absolutely free now. Call 800-405-7850. That's 800-405-7850. 800-405-7850.
The question is, where should the American people draw their line in the sand?
What have we got? A republic or a monarchy?
A republic is based on a constitution which protects minority rights.
Not democracy, not mob rule, 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So they think they own our land, they think they own our water, children, our education, our money.
We have to define who we are and what we will tolerate.
Somebody's going to ask you what you did during the Patriot Uprising.
You have been warned.
We have the facts. We have the Constitution. We have the Bill of Rights. We have common law. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so excited to be able to offer you Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Tyranny is upon us, but liberty and the sleeping giant that is the American people is rising. A new tool in the info war. Don't Tread on Me. Order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139 and support independent, patriotic Liberty films.
Making the right decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth, slide into a recession, or at worst, depression? Hi, Ted Anderson from Midas Resources. We all know when a company acts irresponsibly, divesting ourselves in a move towards safety is prudent. When the market becomes volatile, U.S. Treasuries are a safe haven. But what do you do when the U.S. government overextends itself and spends beyond its means? Many investors are turning toward gold as a common-sense alternative to traditional paper investments. Midas Resources has put together a powerful book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold, discussing costs, benefits, risks, featuring full-color illustrations, weights, and measures. The book is free and can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. Paper investments are dwarfed by gold's 6,000-year history. Discover how gold may be right for you and your IRA by calling 800-686-2237. Whether buying or it's time for you to sell, the book is free. Call 800-686-2237.
Are the threats of a biological attack to the U.S. real?
If biological warfare is real, what should I know before it happens to protect my family?
The answers to the unthinkable are inside a new book by Christian patriot and author Sam Adams, Pale Horse, How to Survive a Chemical or Biological Attack. Inside what's been called the must-have manual for surviving the attack and mass panic that will follow, you will learn what the actual biological and chemical threats are, how to respond to events that are almost certain to happen, what the government's response is likely to be, how some will take advantage of the chaos, and exactly how you should prepare. To get Pale Horse, How to Survive a Chemical or Biological Attack in hard copy or immediate digital download, go to biowarsurvival.com or call 877-327-0365. That's 1-877-327-0365. Or buy online at biowarsurvival.com. That's BIOWAR survival.com.
This is not your father's BioWar Survival Handbook.
Eddie Bravo, Joe Rogan in studio with us for the rest of the hour. This is a short segment. You guys had a chance to see at least part of the Geraldo Rivera piece.
Watching the soldiers, and I don't know what rank he was, but talking about how they are protecting and helping these guys grow opium because it's a part of their culture. Because if they don't, they would turn on the U.S. soldiers. So they're helping them grow opium. I mean, it was amazing.
But the Taliban was actually shutting it down.
The Taliban was shutting
before. Remember, that's why.
Well, why were they doing it? Because they wanted the money. Like what was?
No. They were saying it was against Islam, so they were eradicating it. Poppy production went down to almost nothing right before 9/11. Then after the invasion, record production went up, and they helped them ship it out. Everything.
So the Taliban are good guys?
No, there were two Talibans. There was the original Mujahideen. I've had General Hamid Gul, the former head of Pakistani intelligence, who ran it when they fought the Russians. That was the real Taliban. Then they created Al-Qaeda within it, which is the CIA group that they use to go out and do bad things and then blame on the Taliban.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Taliban are good guys overall. I don't agree with their religious beliefs or how they treat women. The point is the real Taliban, kind of like there's the real IRA and the fake IRA, the real Taliban was eradicating all the poppies. So that was another reason for the invasion.
Well, that is a fascinating piece of video footage with Geraldo Rivera, in the poppy, or with the soldiers, talking about the poppy fields and how they're protecting them and providing them fertilizer and helping them grow it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. It is incredible. Where is that money going? Who's getting it? How does it?
Well, they estimate it's 500 billion street value out of Afghanistan alone every year. Oh, Joe, don't take the Lord's name in vain.
God damn.
Okay, good.
I don't ever say.
Damn.
Okay, good. You're a spiritual guy. You actually believe in God.
Well, not necessarily. I don't think that it is. I don't believe in religion. I believe that all religions are the work of man. But I am not opposed to the idea of a higher power. I think there's no way you could know, and there's no way I know whether there's a God or whether there's a grand plan or a grand designer of the universe. I don't think it's out of the question. Some of the things that I've experienced in my life, especially, I don't want to talk about psychedelic drugs, but they are, I believe, portals to other states of consciousness and other ways of looking at the world. And I think if you've experienced some of those things, a lot more things become possible. Like you think that a lot more things aren't out of the question. And that's how I look at the idea of God. I don't necessarily, I don't think it's, I have a feeling that it's not as simple as like there's a one dude who knows everything that's at the top of the heap. I think it's more like God is everything, that it's all connected, and there's like sort of like a grand design to the universe.
The Force?
Yeah, maybe the Force. We'll go with some Jedi Knight type stuff.
Yoda floating around up there on a cloud.
I don't say, when you say you believe in God, well, everyone talks about the God of the Bible, and, that's...
Well, I didn't mean to get us off into that, but Eddie had a question, and I don't want to be interviewed here, but he's like, no, finish up with the chemtrails.
You interviewing us about...
He's fascinated by chemtrails.
You interviewing us is like me interviewing the Pope about child molestation. You know what I'm saying? I want to ask you questions. Like what's up? What is your final take on chemtrails? 1 minute.
There is a wide spectrum of different operations. They're doing biological and chemical releases on the population to manipulate the environment. It's most of the programs are weather modification related. There are HARP antenna array programs with over-the-horizon radar systems. And I've had the head of HARP on. Bizarrely enough, about 4 years ago, they contacted me and said, the director of the HARP program, directed radar system, would like to be on your show.
So what?
And I got him on.
HARP.
Well, listen, he started saying, we even ignite the atmosphere on fire. It's wonderful. wonderful. It's like this brainiac, and suddenly a colonel comes on and cuts him off as we go to break, and the colonel's like, that's classified. We're going to end the interview right now if you bring up that. And so the military is really running things, but this scientist is the head of it. And people can pull that interview up. Alex Jones interviews the head of HARP.
So explain HARP, though, because I'm a little ignorant about it. I know that there's this...
That's just one big array up in Alaska, but they got a bunch of them, and they can manipulate the weather with these, not just the old-fashioned spraying barium salts or other nuclei or aluminum dioxide, but they can charge the atmosphere. But then by spraying these...
What are they doing? How are they charging it? What are they doing?
They've got giant antenna arrays, and they can even ignite the sky. They can even create artificial aurora borealis. What's the
antenna doing, though?
There's a bunch of antennas.
It's basically giant microwaves.
Okay.
And they're just and they're manipulating,
shooting microwaves up at the ionosphere.
Yes, yes. But it's weather modification